He never stopped cheating. I kept telling myself if I didn't say it out loud, maybe it wasn't real, like silence could cancel a wound. If you believe a woman shouldn't have to swallow pain to keep a family together, please subscribe. It's free, and it tells the algorithm to carry this story to someone who needs it tonight. I tried to make my world smaller so the lies would have less room to echo. I did the stupid dance where you pretend you're fine because admitting you're not means changing everything. He liked that version of me best, the quiet one, the one who organized the bills, cooked the meals, wiped our kids' faces, and went to bed early so she wouldn't notice he wasn't home. Then he asked for something worse. He wanted me to allow the affair. He wanted me to play wife on the main stage while he kept his side show running in the dark. Pay the bills, keep the house, smile at his mother, pose for family photos, and pretend I didn't see another woman wearing my time like a new dress. He said, "We have a good life." According to who? According to the man who eats from 2 plates and calls it balance. Yesterday my stomach had that tight little drumbeat it gets when something is off. My gut never lies. I grabbed my keys and drove a loop around our rentals, the way I sometimes do when I can't breathe. His truck was parked at the 2-bedroom on Maple, the one with the peeling blue door and the roses somebody planted before we bought it. He was there. She was there. Her mail was piled on the console table by the window. The lamp I bought at a yard sale was on, soft and warm, like home. My home, just not for me. She stepped into the kitchen in a robe, hair up, moving like she had rights. The kind of ease you only have when you think the ground under you is yours. I sat in my car and counted my heartbeats until the number didn't scare me anymore. The pieces connected fast, like a cruel little puzzle that had been waiting on the coffee table for me to sit down. He had her living in our rental for free. He had her on our business payroll like a ghost employee. She doesn't work there, I do. A friend slipped me a payroll screenshot after I told her I was losing sleep and weight and hope. There it was, the side piece with a neat little line of income under a fake title. And the receipts in the glove box made sense, the gas I didn't use, the groceries I didn't cook. He had told me to pick up extra shifts because we need more money. He made me feel guilty every time I bought our kids socks, every time I picked up fruit and milk, every time I said yes to a field trip fee. I don't remember the last thing I bought for myself that wasn't medicine or tampons. We would have thousands extra without the secret life he was funding. Thousands. I don't have access to the business accounts. He shut those doors the day I started asking questions about cash flow. I asked him once if we could sit down and go over the books. He laughed like I'd told a joke that didn't land. I went home and confronted him like a dummy. I say dummy because I already knew what he would give me, nothing. No emotion. No story. A face like concrete. He looked at me with eyes that said, if you can't prove it line by line, it didn't happen. He's good at that, turning my truth into a test I'm not allowed to pass. So I did the one thing I could do with my shaking hands. I found her email and I wrote to her. I didn't scream. I told her the facts. I told her the dates. I told her I am not a ghost wife, I am the one washing the sheets he crawls into. I told her we had been intimate. I told her about the texts where he called her baby, my son, the receipts for diapers and formula, the sweet lies he bought with my time. She didn't answer. Silence is a weapon when used right. In her silence I could hear a billion ugly things, shame, pride, fear, winning. Or maybe she was just making dinner in my rental, with my lamp on, and didn't want to think about me at all. He denies the baby is his. He looks me in the eye and he says no, like that word is magic. But why do you call him your son in your texts, I ask. Why do you send her money? Why diapers? He says, because I'm a good person. He says it like that ends the conversation. Like generosity to your own lie makes you noble. I am not naive. I am tired, but I'm not stupid. I'm tired like bone tired, like a body that has been running a marathon while carrying a house. I have lost 20 pounds in 2 months. I didn't have 20 to lose. It wasn't a diet, it was grief. It was small bites of toast and a stomach that says no thank you to anything heavier than tea. I can see my collarbones in selfies I didn't plan to take. I keep a list on my phone of what I ate so I can prove later to some doctor that I tried. I sleep like somebody who is hiding from their own dreams. My hair comes out in the shower like I'm shedding an old animal. Shame sits on my chest in the morning before my feet touch the floor. I don't even know what I'm ashamed of, believing him, staying, hoping, still washing his clothes because laundry is muscle memory and my hands forget before my head remembers. He won't leave. He still comes home at night like the house is his alibi. He drops his keys in the dish, kisses our daughter's hair, asks our son about school, and turns on the TV. He walks by me like I'm a chair. I stand at the sink and stare at a glass that doesn't fill itself. I want to throw it. I want to break something that isn't me. Do I file for divorce? Do I blow up our life? I don't have a plan. I don't even have the right kind of tired to make a plan. I have a scared kind. I have the kind of sadness that isn't just tears, it's fog. I am trying to mother while grieving the life I built brick by brick, sweeping the floor while the house burns around my ankles. I want to run. I want to sleep. I want to be the woman who looks back on this and says, that's when I woke up. But right now I'm the woman who keeps checking the door to see if he's really still here. He told me straight out, we have a good life, like the cheater's version of a bedtime story. His good life means I cook, clean, pay bills, hold kids, and go to bed alone while he lays down in two places and calls it love. He wants the photo album without the work, the applause without the rehearsal. He wants me to be the wife on holidays and the maid on weekdays. He wants me to shut up about what I know so it doesn't become real. I started thinking in straight lines because crooked ones make me dizzy. First, I need facts I can hold. Bank statements. Payroll records. Lease agreements. Second, I need a lawyer. Third, I need to ask myself why I keep giving chances to a person who treats chances like coupons that never expire. The problem is I don't know where the files live, and I know he will lock the drawer if I rattle it. The business accounts are off limits to me, he took my login, for security. He said, I can't have too many people in the books. Too many people. As if I am people and not the partner who built this with him from a table in our garage while our baby slept in a bouncer by our feet. I remember the early years when we worked side by side. He made promises, I made sandwiches. We stacked dreams like boxes with labels. Somewhere between then and now he decided I was a box too, and he wrote, quiet, on the side in thick black marker. I keep circling back to the rental. That house used to smell like fresh paint and hope. We bought it in spring. We replaced the windows. I picked the tile. Now a stranger showered in the bathroom I scrubbed, ate at the counter I sealed, slept under the roof I worried over in storms. I want to be the kind of woman who doesn't care. I want to be the woman who shrugs and says, take him. But I'm not there yet. I am still the woman who feels heat in her face when she thinks about him telling her she spends too much on groceries while he buys another woman almond milk and organic granola and a bouquet because she likes pretty things. I like pretty things too. I like being told I matter. I like someone asking me how I slept. I can't name the last time he asked. I keep hearing a voice in my head that sounds like the version of me I almost forgot. Gather everything. Screenshot the texts. Photograph the mail with her name on it. Save the receipts with the wrong addresses. Write the dates. Write the times. Don't tell him you're doing it. Don't spend your anger, save it like money for when you need to move fast. But then the mother part of me drowns out the strategist. She says loud, the kids. The kids. The kids. Keep the routine. Keep the bedtime. Keep the morning cereal exactly the same so their hearts don't think the whole world is falling through the floor. Sometimes I look at him and I see a statue of a man. Hard. Unmoving. A figure. Sometimes I see a child playing dress up in his father's closet, lost and mean, pretending to be big by breaking small things. Sometimes I see the teenager who learned that lying keeps love close. Sometimes I see nothing at all, just an outline where a partner should be. When I confronted him today, he sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the floor like it might open and swallow him, and I had this stupid flash of wanting to comfort him. That's the dangerous sweetness of a woman like me. We are nurses to the same illness that keeps making us bleed. I didn't touch him. I didn't cry. I told him what I knew, and he put on that face he saves for police and pastors. Blank. Respectful. Dead. It is worse than shouting. Shouting would be human. This is strategy. This is, if I give you nothing, you will run out of questions. And maybe I will. But not before I find my courage. I wrote to her because sometimes the other woman is the only person in the room who thinks she's in a love story. I told her I won't aim at her, I am aiming at him. I told her I won't compete for scraps. I told her I wish she loved herself more, because I do too. I guess that was the most honest sentence in the email. I wish I loved myself more than this. At night I lie in bed and I think about walking into a courthouse with a folder and a friend. I think about saying my name out loud to a clerk and not choking on it. I think about signing papers with a hand that doesn't shake. I think, if I file, do I get to see everything? Do I finally get to open the drawer he guards? Will an attorney force the truth out of numbers that don't lie? Will I get access to payroll, to leases, to the accounts he calls company, like that word means, not yours? I don't want his money, I want my life. Sometimes those two overlap in ways that make me dizzy. I don't even know what I need to ask for. I just know I can't keep paying for my own replacement. He comes home at midnight and crawls into bed after showering away someone else's perfume. He turns his back to me like a wall. His phone lights up his side of the room like a lighthouse guiding ships that are not mine. I turn to the window and watch nothing. I think about the 20 pounds that left me and wonder where they went. Did they become fog? Did they become sore ribs? Did they become space for a woman I haven't met yet to stand up inside me? I tell myself one thing before I sleep: I am not crazy. This is crazy. I am a mother who makes breakfast and wipes noses and reads the same book 6 times. I am a woman who built a business at a kitchen table. I am a human person with a heart that deserves plain truth. If I forget that again tomorrow, someone reading this, please remind me. If you are me 1 year from now, write me a note that says, "You did the hard thing. I'm proud of you." I made a list at the kitchen table at 2 a.m. because paper is the only thing that sits still when your life doesn't. Title at the top: What I Know versus What I Can Prove. Under No, I wrote all the things my body already believes: her living in our rental, her name on a fake payroll, the diapers, the gas, the groceries, the texts where he calls her baby, my son, the way he tells me to work more while he funds a secret life, the way his mother smiles too tight when I walk in a room. Under Prove, I left space. It felt like a dare to myself, but in a good way. I can't compete with his silence, I can build a folder. I started gathering without telling him. Screenshots. Photos of mail through the window. Time-stamped videos on my phone of his truck parked outside the rental on weekdays he claims he's at the office. Receipts in the glove box with addresses that are not mine. The payroll screenshot my friend sent, carefully saved with the date I received it, because I know, "How did you get this?" can be a trap. I joke to myself I'm making a scrapbook for a life I don't want, then I stop joking because this is not funny. I opened a new email just for legal things, a new cloud folder with a boring name, and I whispered to myself, "Let the lawyer be the detective so you can be the mother." That line softened something in me. I cannot be both right now. I called 3 attorneys for consultations because I need someone to speak a language I don't. The first one talked over me. The second told me to try counseling first, like I haven't been playing therapist, maid, bookkeeper, and ghost for years. The third, her name is Elena, had a voice like a steady hand. She asked me to breathe. She said, "I want you to say the timeline out loud once, and then you won't have to keep repeating it to strangers. I did. It hurt and helped. She listened without trying to fix my feelings. Then she laid out steps in plain words. You can file and request temporary orders, temporary custody, temporary support, and exclusive use of the home if you need safety and stability for the kids. You can ask the court to order him to keep paying the mortgage and essential bills while we sort the rest. You can ask for a forensic look at business finances. Discovery is how we see books you can't access now, subpoenas, bank records, payroll, QuickBooks, credit cards, leases, even Zelle and Venmo. What he spends on a third party can be called dissipation of marital assets. Courts can credit that back to you in the division. If he put her on payroll, that's not just a marriage problem, that's a business problem. We can request statements from vendors, W-2s, 1099s, and reconcile with deposits. If he lies, paper doesn't. She said, don't confront him again. Don't warn him what you know. Don't tip him off to shred. She told me to move communication to a co-parenting app once I file, because the app keeps records and time stamps and judges like clean lines. She told me to open my own account and move my paycheck there. She told me to freeze my credit and the kids' credit so no one opens anything in our names. She told me to get copies of birth certificates, social security cards, tax returns, titles, insurance policies, passports, the last 3 years of personal and business taxes if I can. If I can't, she will. She told me to consider a P.O. box, change my phone passcode, and turn off location sharing. She told me to pick a safe person who will go with me to the courthouse. You will feel shaky, she said, and you will still be fine. I cried on the phone and apologized for crying. She said, don't apologize to me. Save that energy for yourself. I told Elena about the baby. About the diapers. About the texts. About him calling himself a good person, as if buying supplies for your lie counts as charity. She said, very calm, you are not here to diagnose him. You are here to protect yourself and your children. Then she told me something that made my whole body feel seen. The shame you're carrying is not yours. It belongs to the person who created this mess. Give it back by refusing to hold it. I wrote that down and circled it. She ended the call with, eat something salty. Drink water. You're doing a hard thing sitting down. After I hung up, I put peanut butter on toast and finished it even when my stomach argued. It felt like proof I can take care of me. He kept coming home. The next night he was nice. He made a joke. He hugged our son longer than usual. He asked if I wanted anything from the store. The kindness sat wrong in my mouth. That's the worst part, how my brain can't tell the difference between a real olive branch and bait. I said, milk, because we needed milk, and because asking for what I need is a muscle that has atrophied and I want to see if it still works even in small ways. He came back with milk and flowers and the milk was good and the flowers were for show. He placed them on the counter like a bribe and looked at me like he wanted a grade. I didn't give him one. He asked, are you okay? And I said, I'm making dinner. That was true. I boiled pasta and asked our daughter to set the table and I watched the kids eat like their mouths are the only honest part of this house. I told my sister the truth because secrets make me sick. She came over with a folder and her reading glasses and sat on my floor cross-legged while I pulled papers out of a grocery bag. She labeled things like we were back in middle school doing a group project for a teacher we liked. She didn't say, I told you so, even though she could have. She told me I'm not stupid. She told me my hope was not a sin. She told me loving my family was not a mistake. She said, the mistake is letting one person rewrite your worth, and she kissed my hair like we were kids. She offered me her couch if I needed it and her guest room if I decided to leave fast. She said, we can switch cars if you're worried about him taking yours. She said, we can change the locks if your attorney says it's legal. She said, pick 3 things you can do tomorrow and do only those 3. The rest is noise. The 3 things I picked: call Elena back and book, scan the kids' documents, and eat lunch. I did all 3. It felt like stacking stones. I also called the kids' pediatrician and told them I'm updating emergency contacts. I called daycare and asked about their policy for custody when parents are in process, who needs what papers to pick up who. I googled co-parenting app judges like and downloaded 2 just to see the layout. I made a list of safe places for exchanges: my sister's lobby, the police station parking lot, the daycare entrance during business hours. I put my wedding ring in a drawer. Not as a performance. As a boundary for myself. I told God I'm scared. I told God I'm angry. I told God I'm tired of pretending I'm not both at the same time. I stopped doing his laundry. It's a small thing, but it is not small. I washed the kids' things and my things and left his basket alone. He asked, "Did you do laundry?" And I said, "Yes," and let the pronoun sit heavy in the air. He looked at the basket like it betrayed him. He asked, "What's for dinner?" And I said, "Whatever you make," and he made nothing, and I fed the kids grilled cheese and apple slices and called it good. I didn't clean his dishes the next morning. I put them in a stack on his side of the sink and kept moving. He noticed. He got mean in small ways. He sighed louder. He closed cabinets too hard. He made comments about standard slipping, and I said nothing because I will not play whack-a-mole with tiny insults when there is a war to win on paper. His mother called and asked if everything was okay because you've seemed distant. I said I'm busy. She said, "You two have such a good life," and that sentence now sits in my ears like broken glass. I didn't tell her what I know. I will not feed her gossip. If she knows already, her silence is a choice. If she doesn't, it's not my job to give her the story he should own. I hung up and put my phone face down and sat beside my son on the rug and built a tower of blocks until he laughed and knocked it over. That sound reminded me why I'm doing this, not to win, but to stop losing ground under my kids' feet. I went back to the rental once more, in daylight. Not to scare myself. To get the photos I will need. I did it fast. House numbers. Mail with her name. His truck. The lease taped inside the cabinet from the last tenant, our names, our company, the date that proves it should be empty. I left before my nerve left me. I sat in the car after and cried like a person who has been holding in a breath since spring. I texted my sister, "Done," and she sent back a gold star because sometimes we are still 8. The email I sent her kept chewing at me. Why did I reach out? Because part of me wanted her to step aside, to look at me and see a mother and say, "I won't do this." Because part of me wanted to scare her. Because part of me wanted to hear her side and make sense of the parts that don't. She didn't write back. That's probably for the best. We are not a triangle, we are a battlefield that he keeps mining for proof he is a man. I decided right then to stop talking to walls. All future talking goes through Elena or a judge. My hands are too small to keep catching men who throw their weight around like it's proof. At night I practice what I will say when I file so I don't fall apart at the desk. I'm here to file for divorce. 6 words. I say them in my head and then I say them out loud in the shower where no one grades my voice. Sometimes I make it to 4 words and cry. Sometimes I make it to 6 and then say 7, 8, 9 more to prove I still can. I'm here to file for divorce because my husband has a mistress living in our rental property, because I found evidence he put her on payroll at our business, because he used our money to support her while telling me to work more, because he denies paternity while buying diapers, because he won't leave the house but also won't stop cheating, because my body is falling apart from stress, because my children need a mother who is present, because I need a life that doesn't hurt. Then I practice the other version, the one I'll say to the kids when they're old enough. I chose truth. Shorter. Cleaner. Easier to carry. He keeps ping-ponging between sweet and empty. We can fix this. I'll change. I can't lose my family. Then he vanishes for hours and returns smelling like a store I don't shop at. He says he's helping a friend. He says, "Don't start." He says, "We need money," and I say, "We also need honesty," and he shrugs like that's optional. He says, "You look skinny," and I say nothing because compliments can be cages, and I don't want to say, "Thank you," for an illness. I'm trying to mother while I am also emptying a life. I still pack lunches. I still sign permission slips. I still remember pajama day. I still play the "find your little toes" game after bath. In the little blue notebook I keep in the junk drawer, I write down wins: ate lunch, called lawyer, printed kids' immunization records, took photos of mail, didn't cry in front of the kids, slept 5 hours, didn't answer his baiting text, made dentist appointments, said yes to help. When I read the list back to myself at night, it sounds like a woman building a raft plank by plank while holding 2 children above the water. It is not elegant. It floats. I asked Elena the question that keeps looping in my head: if I file, will I get to see the books? She said yes, over and over in different ways. Discovery. Subpoenas. Forensic accountant if we need it. Temporary orders to stop big moves, selling property, moving money, changing payroll. If he hides things, there are penalties. If he lies, there are consequences. Don't worry about the how, she said. Your job is to be steady, to keep the kids' routines, to document, to protect yourself. My job is to pull the thread. Then she said the other thing I didn't know I needed: you are not crazy. This is financial abuse and infidelity. Your brain is trying to protect you by making you forget. That's why we write. That's why we save paper. Paper helps when memory shakes. I ate an orange at the sink and the juice ran down my wrist and I let it, because sticky is better than numb. I took a shower and stood under the hot water until my skin felt like it lived on me again. I put on the softest pajamas I own even though they're a little old and the waistband is tired. I told myself, you are allowed to want comfort while you do hard things. I put the kids to bed and I didn't follow them into sleep, even though I wanted to. I sat with my list and picked tomorrow's 3, file a change of direct deposit, pick up the P.O. box keys, call Elena to schedule the filing date. I added a 4th, eat a sandwich. I wrote sandwich like a dare. Then I underlined it like a promise. His mother texted again, family dinner Sunday. My thumbs typed, we're busy, and I didn't add a smiley face to soften the truth. She sent back a thumbs up. The shape of her approval never meant much, it means less now. He tried one more time to make me the villain. You're ruining our good life, he said, and I smiled the saddest smile in the world because it's not a good life if only one person gets to eat. You did that when you put her on payroll, I said. He did the blank face again. I didn't fill it for him. Tonight, I told the kids a story about a brave fox who built a den with 2 doors, one for safety, one for guests. I said the fox learned who to let in by listening with her whole body. I did funny voices for the guests. I made them laugh. I think I was telling myself the story too. I don't know the exact day I will file. I keep circling dates on the calendar and then moving the circle 2 days forward because I am balancing courage with logistics. I want to be steady. I want the kids to have a normal morning the day I do it: cereal, shoes on the right feet, teeth brushed, backpack sipped. I want to hand Elena my folder and let her make order from the spill. I want to not throw up in the courthouse bathroom. I want to come home to my own throat and drink tea on my own couch and feel the first muscle of peace wake up inside me. If you've been here, if you filed, if you found a way to hold your kids' hands while you signed your name, tell me how you did it. Tell me what saved you. Tell me what to pack in my purse the day I go. Tell me if I wait or go now. Tell me what you wish someone had told you the night before. I am scared. I am sad. I am still a mother. I am trying to be a woman who chooses truth in daylight and not just in my head at midnight. What do I do? Should I file now and let Discovery pull the records, ask for temporary orders and exclusive use, or should I gather quietly a little longer until the folder is heavier? How did you do this and still make breakfast? Tell me in the comments. Please be kind, be honest, be practical. And if this reached you where you're hurting, it would help me so much if you like, share, and subscribe so more women see this before they think they have to stay.